Good morning. Today we will talk something about tracheostomy. A tracheostomy is the creation of an opening into the trachea. A tracheostomy implies that this opening has connection to an opening in the skin, that is, the formation of a stoma. Function of tracheostomy: it bypasses and relieves the upper respiratory tract infection. It helps in removing the bronchial secretions and inhalation of drugs, instillation of drugs. It diminishes the dead space and thus improves the respiratory efficiency. It decreases the airway resistance, always provided that tube with a wide diameter bore is used. It permits of the insertion of a cupped tracheostomy, and in case of laryngeal incompetence or dysphagia, the airway can be isolated from the pharynx. It is also invaluable for the application of positive pressure respiration, as in case of poliomyelitis. Indication for tracheostomy: number 1, central depression of respiratory center, such as coma, cerebrovascular accident, head injury, barbiturates poisoning. Number 2, interference with the nervous pathway, such as poliomyelitis, cervical cord lesion, polyneuritis. Third is muscular weakness due to lesion in neuromuscular junction, such as myasthenia gravis, muscular relaxant overdose, tetanus. Number 4, obstruction to the respiratory airway, in which some are intrinsic and some are extrinsic. In intrinsic, multiple papilloma of the larynx and simple tumors, carcinoma of the larynx and pharynx, edema glottidis, foreign body in the air passages, infections such as diphtheria, edema of lung, acute lung infection, trauma to trachea and larynx, cut throat. Extrinsic, carcinoma of thyroid gland, malignant gland in the neck, Ludwig's angina, trauma to neck and rupture of large vessels and compression, central middle third fracture of the skull. Fifth indication is pre-operative procedures. Prior to removal of multiple papilloma of larynx, laryngofissure, total glossectomy and jaw operation, bilateral block dissection of glands of neck, thoracic surgery. Types of tracheostomy: temporary tracheostomy, in which elective and emergency. Elective tracheostomy: this is performed as a planned procedure under general anesthesia as a temporary stage in the patient's management. Emergency tracheostomy: percutaneous tracheostomy. Second is permanent tracheostomy. In an operation involving the removal of the larynx, such as laryngectomy or laryngopharyngectomy, the tracheal remain brought out to the surface as a permanent mouth to the respiratory tract. Anatomical types of tracheostomy. The opening made in the trachea above the isthmus of the thyroid gland, known as high tracheostomy. Median tracheostomy, behind the isthmus. Low tracheostomy, below the isthmus. Anesthesia used in tracheostomy. In the emergency operation in adult, operation is always in local anesthesia unless resistance is to be anticipated. On this case, intratracheal tube is passed and patient gives a light anesthetic. In case of children, general anesthesia is always given following the passage of intratracheal tube. In elective tracheostomy, it can done under general anesthesia or local anesthesia. In local anesthesia, 1 to 2% xylocaine with few drops of adrenaline should be injected under the skin so as to control with an ample margin area of proposed incision. Deeper injections are made towards the side of the trachea and towards the suprasternal notch. Procedure. The procedure is much easier and less stressful for both patient and surgeon if done under general anesthesia. However, if there are contraindications to this, local anesthesia can be used and is injected into the skin and subcutaneous tissue overlying the trachea in the neck. Unless the situation is exceptional, it should be performed in an OT on an operating table with appropriate theatre lights and supporting staff. Patient should be supine with neck extended as much as possible. The incision can be midline and vertical from cricoid cartilage down to the suprasternal notch. Incision is carried through the skin and subcutaneous tissue down to the strap muscles. These strap muscles are separated in the midline. Held side by help of retractor, and thyroid isthmus is identified. This isthmus is freed from the trachea and clamped, divided and oversewn with 3/0 silk. The tracheal rings are then seen and a vertical incision is made through the third and fourth ring, and semicircle of tracheal wall is removed from either side. The appropriate sized tracheostomy tube is inserted and closed but not tightly. Post-op care. nursing, fixation of tracheostomy tube, removal of secretion, humidification, changing of the tube, care of inflatable cuff, dressing, removal of the tube. Nursing. A nurse who understands the case of tracheostomy, patients should be in attendance for the first 48 hours and should carry out the care with sterile precautions. Patient has a magic slate for messages and bell for call for assistance. Fixation of tracheostomy tube. It is essential not to tie the tube too tight and not to tie in a bow, since they can undone. Tape should be tied when neck is flexed. Removal of secretion. Excess secretions occurs after a tracheostomy, since trachea is exposed to cold and dry air, and tubes acts as a foreign body and stimulates the formation of secretions. During the first 48 hours, secretion should be removed half-hourly. Thereafter, every 1 to 2 hours with sterile precautions. Humidification. This is necessary to prevent crusting of secretions, and it is done most simply by installing normal saline down to the tracheostomy tube before suction. In adults, 5 ml NS are dripped down to the tube. Suction is then performed. Changing the tube. The tracheostomy tube should not be disturbed for first 48 to 72 hours, but thereafter the tube is changed daily and cleaned at regular interval. On insertion of the tube, it is essential to check that it is in the trachea and not lying anterior to it or in the mediastinum. If this happens, respiration will not be heard through the tube and respiratory embarrassment may occur. Care of the inflatable cuff. When cuff is blown up to occlude the leaks in the airway, the pressure must be higher than the systolic blood pressure, which leads to ischemic necrosis. If the cuff is inflated more than few hours, it should be therefore be let down every half an hour. Removal of the tube. This presents no problem in adult. The tube is removed once the patient can sleep for a night with the tube corked. In children, it is very much more difficult to remove the tracheostomy tube that has present more than few days, probably due to it is thought that the subglottic region above the trachea acts as a sump and subglottic edema occurs. Complications: surgical emphysema, blockage of the tracheostomy tube, tracheal erosion and hemorrhage, dysphagia, difficult decannulation. Surgical emphysema. This is occasionally found in the immediate post-operative period and present as a swollen area around the root of the neck and upper chest, which displays crepitus as on palpation. It is due to over-tight suturing of the wound and it is
थोड़ा देर के बाद
not dangerous unless it leads to mediastinal emphysema and cardiac tamponade. Blockage of tracheostomy tube. This can occur if there is lack of humidification, a poor toilet. It is more likely to occur with Portex tube than the silver tubes, but presents a little problem. It is recognized in time. If it is recognized in time, tube should be changed. Tracheal erosion and hemorrhage. The initial erosion can be caused by using a tube with the wrong curvature or by passing the tube anterior to the tracheal opening, and tube in this position may erode the innominate vein with almost fatal results. Dysphagia. This is fairly common in the first few days after tracheostomy. Difficult decannulation due to subglottic edema. If the infection and necrosis of cartilage occur, the cartilaginous tracheal ring softens, and when the tube is removed, the lumen collapses, causing respiratory obstruction and difficult decannulation. It is maybe due to tubal stenosis due to infection of the trachea. Tracheostomy tubes. Number 1, Silver Jackson tube. It consists of an outer tube and inner tube, which can be cleaned without disturbing the outer tube. It is inserted over an introducer. Portex tube. Widely used tube and can be used cuffed or uncuffed. No introducer are used with them. These are no inner tube, but they are almost non-irritant. Radcliffe tube. This is a right angle tube, not used with an inner tube, which is useful in a patients with thick and fat neck. Durham's tube. This is a tube with an adjustable flange and can be made to fit any size of the neck. Thank you.